I've got a special guest with us today. Old Daryl Guy,
Buongiorno,
friend of the pod.
cunt nerds.
Now, I'm excited for this episode, this Patreon episode, but at the same time, I'm nervous because you are far more ruthless than any. You're looking at me with them fucking eyes.
Fucking
I just don't know what's
killer.
going to come out of your mouth. I'm scared.
Cock.
There's going to be very little gaming talk on this episode. I already know it.
Done,
So we're just going to see where we fucking roll with it.
done all that shit, and we talked about games.
Got that out of the way.
Yeah.
So
Now-
here's the nice relaxing.
Now it's time for
Talk about whatever the fuck you want.
all you paying bitches out there deserve this. Actually, I pay.
I know, I'm going to start issuing refunds to you and
Do
Connor.
I get £1.25 back? I mean, £125 because I pay shit ton of money
Well,
into this episode.
Mhm.
What is episodes? You alright there, lad?
What flavour are these Doritos?
They are
Oh, you fucking
Bombay flavour. I know. Connor would love them.
extra fire or something.
Extra fire.
Fiery hot.
They're nice going in. They'd be fucking horrible coming out.
How was your first podcast ever?
First one, yeah, well, it was.
You're now a podcaster.
Yeah, as I said, I on that episode, I've got a What's the Buttons boner. But because you pay extra, you can find out a little bit more. As I've not only got a
Fucking hell, spicy.
What's a Button boner, but I've got a What's a Buttons fucking butt plug right up my arse. It's a massive one as well, huge. And I went for a shit and didn't wipe my arse. So
You can see how any fucking idiot can set up a podcast.
Oh yeah,
It's so easy.
so easy. Yeah, it's fucking. It's. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. We need to pay this guy more money. He's got fucking shit kit here.
Thank you.
Absolute shit.
This is actually the best of the best. Believe it or not.
Best of the best of the best
Mhm.
of what?
In terms of microphones
Yeah.
and interface and shit like that, yeah.
Yeah.
Which
these,
is odd.
These microphones are ribbed as well, aren't they?
Yeah, these are big boys. Don't get me wrong. You talk to them at the side like that, they're no good. But you talk to them here, which I like. But yeah, that's boring anyway. So hit me with some knowledge.
Did you know that when you die in the military, that
There we go.
they carry you feet forward? Yeah. Do you know that's knowledge?
There we go. Daryl Guy was in the army.
Yep.
Let's let's get some shit out of that.
Tap me up for some of that shit.
That'll be some
I
interesting.
do have to be careful because I have signed an official secret. So this ain't even a joke.
Really?
Neither. Yeah. When I left.
Oh my god, let's talk about that then.
So yeah, because I specialised. I joined as a military police officer.
Yeah.
Still served as a military police officer, but specialised into close protection.
Yeah.
After a couple of years, and then that was my role. So I looked after Her Majesty's ambassadors, or you would call His Majesty,
yeah.
But I was in when.
So would you ever actually looking after the Queen, or was that just?
No, I never looked after the Queen, but looked after Prince Charles, Duke of Kent.
What, like personally, or?
Yeah, because when they go to military war zone or conflict,
Yeah.
the police there at that time could only carry certain weapons. So they can't carry fully automatic, or they couldn't carry fully automatic weapons. They weren't acclimatized to the heat. They don't know. We've been in that country for, weeks, if not months. So we know all the different routes, the different vehicles. So they just hand that shit over to us. They, yeah. I have to be careful. I want to talk,
Yeah.
but then you're like...
Really?
So we do double up with them, but they
obviously
don't really... No, they're not specialised in what we do. We can carry grenades and smoke.
So, like, did
boss.
you, in terms of actually getting to protect, like, those high-profile people, did you ever actually get to speak to them and interact with them, or was it just like, get in that car, I'll stand behind the fucking car and make sure no one blows it up?
You talk to them and let them know the ins and
You'll be
outs.
so careful, inn't you?
It all depends who it is and how long they're there for. I looked after one royal personality, and they were only there for pretty much a day. And I didn't really talk to them, but my whole job it was only me, so it was an IGB role, which is an individual IBG, which is an individual bodyguard, and I was attached to them for a whole day in Iraq. And yeah, it was fucking insane because their itinerary for that day is like boat, armor personnel carrier, helicopter. You know, so you're getting to do all that, and because I've been in country for a while and I know that military hardware, I know how to put a seatbelt on. I know how to do this. I know, whereas you would get, a police officer and they wouldn't know the fucking cat's keyhole about an 8-sided seatbelt in a Black Hawk. So yeah,
that's crazy.
You do talk to them. You can talk to them like that, or you can stand in the background. I talked to them for a little bit, but not overly, because their itinerary was like bang, 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 bang. They've got there's people hanging on.
So you're basically there so I'm a high profile person. You're protecting me. You are there for, if a bullet's coming, you have to fucking get in between me and it.
Yeah.
Is that the bottom line of it?
No.
No?
No, you can do that. The idea is split targets. So when you are under fire, you put them into a cover and you move slightly away from that, so you don't become one target as such. There are obviously certain places where you can and can't do that.
Just speak a little bit louder, because I feel like I want everyone to... This is very interesting.
Yeah, so no, we try and split that target rather than make it one big target, because one target is easy 2 targets, then have to flick in between. So yeah, there's a lot of different stuff around that, how you can do that. The biggest thing there is you always what ifing. It's such a military thing, but it's such a very close protection related thing. You always what ifing. What if someone attacks us with a small arms weapon in this area? Like, where is the nearest exit? Where is the nearest vehicle? What if this happens? What if that's locked? What if that doesn't work? What if do you know what I mean? So your brain is, you kind of get used to it. At the start, it fucking hurts.
Stressful, yeah.
Yeah, man. Like, after your first week in theatre, like, because you don't know a lot of the setup, your brain is, you're always on red. There's like, they have like a triangle, red, amber and green, and you pretty much should be running at amber most of the time.
So I'd imagine something goes wrong, you're fucked.
I've been in situations where it has gone wrong multiple times, but your training and who you work with is fucking key. Like, you're highly trained. Before you even become an operator, you're doing 6 months of training. And that is all different types. That's you in a suit driving in the middle of London, to you in combats on the M25 getting extracted by a helicopter, and they do that. They shut down part of the M25. We go to like Heathrow and do plane drops and stuff like. It's we're in there with a lot of different people, because obviously we interact with many different agencies. So
I won't press you on it because I know I can't. So the NDA shit and the stuff that you sign that says you can't talk about certain things, is that certain things in terms of like because things have happened, or is that just the operation as a whole? There's aspects of it where you can't get that into public domain.
Yeah, some of it's like sensitive, like kit and equipment, tactics. That'll be. I mean, it probably won't be as sensitive now because I've been out 13 years, 14 years. So yeah, that stuff probably would have passed.
It's so crazy, isn't it?
But there's also, I've been in the car with prime ministers and ambassadors talking about stuff.
So you hear certain things,
yeah, you get to see like it's. I mean, one thing I know is I don't vote because I know it doesn't matter who you get in. They've got a good and a bad job. They've got to make really hard shit decisions, and then they've got to make really easy, comfortable decisions. And sitting in the backs of cars or being with them in meetings where they're talking about this stuff, there's a lot of pressure on these people, and some of it is very time sensitive. Yeah, it's.
I find it it's so fascinating because you're the only person that I have ever met that has been in that setting, and is so open about it. I've met people before that are in the army and that have served their country and done various things, but everyone that I've ever met that has done that doesn't like talking about it. So obviously when I first met you, and then when we started talking about the personal stuff and our own lives and everything like that, the fact that you're so open to talk about it just makes it so much more interesting. And then all I ever do whenever you come up in conversation, it's the first thing that I fucking beeline to, because I feel like everyone else finds it so fucking interesting as well, because it's just a different... I'm just in the sticks, a little gamer that fucking works in vegetation, you know what I mean? Nothing bad's happening to me. And then there's like fucking old Daryl's over here fucking around in Iraq and Somalia, and led this entire different life that I've seen on the telly, but will never ever experience, hopefully, in my lifetime. So I just find it so fascinating, because there's so much shit going on.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
I suppose some lads and lasses find it hard to talk about, because it maybe gives them like a hero mechanism. You know, like they feel like that if they're talking about it, that they're automatically a hero. Whereas I don't mind talking about it because it's fucking interesting. I know as someone that's interested in a lot of other stuff as well. When I hear, you know, my friend, he's in the police force and he does counter-terrorism in there, and I love, you know, I've done stuff that you know, make that look really, really quite poor. You know, make them look like they're serving hamburgers in McDonald's. But I love hearing about it. You know, I'm interested in that. Like, what is the inside scoop? Like, what's happening? Like, tell me how. Like, it's a different world. And even though I used to be in that, I'm still interested. I still love, you know, guns and how they work, and I suppose that's a little bit nerdy in itself. You know, if you understand the mechanics of a weapon, like how it works intricately, you know when it goes wrong, why it's gone wrong, and how to fix it fucking ASAP. Because if you can't, you've got to draw a secondary weapon, which isn't as good. So if you can understand that sort of side of it, same as mechanics of not literally the mechanics of a helicopter, but the mechanics of like what type of helicopter, where should you approach from? You know, because you can't always approach from the behind of a helicopter because of the rotor blades, but some you can.
I was going to say, I've seen videos of people getting fucking domed by a helicopter blade.
And you think about it, if you're running to that, like it's in the middle of the night, you know, you called that helicopter in, it's flown in from, you don't, like, they're not going to tell you what that helicopter is. They're just telling you, fucking Halo's going to land at this grid, blah, 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 blah. You run out to that helicopter. If you don't know, like, if you can't tell the difference in the dark when there's a brownout, which is what all the dust and shit, and because these countries aren't particularly not dusty, you'll have to be like, what the fuck is going on? You'll have to look. But, you know, if you understand the mechanics, like, oh yeah, that's like a Chinook, or oh yeah, I know that's you know, a Lynx helicopter, or you know, like in what door I'm going to approach from, you know, or where to look for the loadie, where to look for the crewman, and you're going to be banging straight in there. Whereas that's the speciality of what we done, is we were so nerdy that we knew that sort of shit. Boats, like what type of boat are we going to get? Like how many seats are going to be in that boat? Who are you going to fucking tip out of that boat because you're going in it? You've got to be ballsy as well, man. Like, because my rank was quite sort of low down, but you don't officially have a rank when you're on a tour like that. You are just an operator that looks after someone that's fucking important. So you will, like, if you're looking after a 3-star general, you are a 3-star general. So you have got to have the nuts. If, you know, some captain says, "Oh, you're going to go in that boat," and you just turn around and go, "No, brother, I'm getting in that boat." And he's like, "No, you're not. You're not assigned to that boat." And he's saying, "Look, fuck nuts, man. This ain't happening for you. You got 2 options here. You let me in, or I'll fucking throw you out." That's it. And then that's the thing you've got to have. So, but you know, so that's where I get my ballsiness from, and my outward sort of characteristics like that. I've got to dominate. I've got to let people know that this is the fucking school. Because what happens?
So people wouldn't just like part the way.
Some people do, because they know who you are, and they know what you represent, and they can tell by the kit that I wear and the weapons that I have. They're like, fuck. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm not going to fuck around with this guy because he's going to tear me a new one. Or specifically, you just go, all right, you just go and tell the aide-de-camp for the general, or you tell someone. And that visit then becomes a blot on their on their record. You know, they're like that official or that person you're looking after is going there for a reason. If he's going to be inhibited, someone's going to
get a bollock.
Someone's going to they're going to fucking heads are going to roll. And but you obviously get those people that they take
big bollocks.
Yeah, they think that like, this is my setup and I'm going to run it. And
you ain't fucking intervening, cunt.
Listen, mate, this might be your train set, but I'm the fucking fat controller. So get the fuck out of the way and let me on the train. Choo choo.
I just think it's crazy, man.
Yeah.
It's so... What's that fucking buzzing?
Oh.
Are you still good?
Yeah, I'm still good.
Yeah? All right. It's just... I could never imagine being in that sort of environment, but at the same time, I could also imagine thriving in that environment.
Yeah, definitely.
That makes sense.
Yeah, I mean...
That camaraderie and I mean, I'd be getting migraines every fucking 5 minutes. Yeah. You know what I mean? I can't imagine that if you're in the middle of an operation, we've got to stop. I'm blind.
Yeah.
I can't see.
Honey. Yeah. That's why sickness in the army is seen as weak, like, because you can't do your mission. If you can't do your mission, then you're fucking no use to us.
Yeah.
But yeah, that you totally. Well, I think you thrive or die. I think it's one of the things. You know, he who hesitates is lost. So if you've got hesitation, you're really no good to us.
Do you ever think back through your military career to where you are now and think that, like, has there ever been points where you should have been dead?
Oh, yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Once or twice, maybe 3 or 4 times.
There you go. Yeah, I shouldn't have fucking.
No. It's not like it's me thinking about on those scenarios.
Yeah.
Because I've done a lot, and I've been under contact, which means like shot out or blown up multiple times. Close, but probably the first time I first saw, we was walking along with a general. We were with a company of infantrymen, and we were just going out on a normal patrol of a certain area, and we saw a car full of Iraqis drive past us. But you know what? Your combat indicators like switch straight on. They're all looking at us. The car was moving slowly. It's a normal, like, it's not.
There's a red flag here.
Yeah, you start thinking like, what the fuck's going on? So instinct then we talk on the PRR, which is a personal road radio. You're always talking, always, you know, what if, like, oh yeah, lads, just recognise this car. It's just, gone past us at slow speed, obviously, like, dicking us, which means looking at you. Like, just watch out for car, white Toyota Corolla, whatever it is.
Yeah.
You know, 4 males, military age. And then probably about 2 minutes later, from like a balcony on our sort of right hand side.
Fucking buzzing.
Go on, carry on. Yeah, probably set the scene a little bit. So we got out the back of her. So we were originally in a armoured personnel carrier Warrior tank, and then we were patrolling. We were quite near them, the Warriors, and then all of a sudden we just saw like a spray come through us, like all the dust come through, and you obviously the gunshots ring out. They weren't that far away, so you just like straight through the middle of us. Yeah, like, there's 3 of us on the ground with the principal, like 3 operators, 1 principal, and a multiple of infantrymen, and this just missed us probably by 3/4 of a meter, mate. Just straight through the middle of us.
Fucking
they're just taking a pot shot.
Yeah.
And then for us, like, training just kicks in.
Yeah.
We just go to cover, try and target recognition, try and lay some rounds down, see what we can get. Obviously we're professionals, so we're not just going to start fucking suppressing fire. You know, we need to be able to target recognition, but we obviously but they'd gone pretty quick. It was just a shoot and scoot for them. And then it's all about like follow up, like what are they going to do to follow up, how we're going to do it. And that moves pretty quick. You know, that's like less than 10 seconds before we figure that out. It's like, right, throw some smoke, throw some floss, get back to the Warrior, pop the boss in there, make sure no one's bleeding out. And then so that's one time, which sets you up. I think the first time we were sort of like, took us a little bit of time before we started laughing. Second time, then it's giggles everywhere. Now everyone's as it's happening.
Oh, really?
Yeah, everyone's like, because you get used to that. Like, the first time for me was like sort of rush of adrenaline, like an excitement, and then like do your job, like get the boss in there, like check him over, like, are you bleeding anywhere? Because they don't know as well. Sometimes when you've been hit, sometimes you don't know you've been hit or not, the adrenaline. So we're like, he's like, fuck off, get off me, and you're trying to rummage around like a 3-star general, like, and he's like, get off me, like, no, because you don't know if you've been hit, and we're looking for blood and blah blah. And then, you know, adrenaline starts to calm down, and everyone's like, you see, I nearly killed that guy, and everyone's laughing and giggling, and like, a bunch of schoolgirls. But the more you get into that, the more you sort of then recognise not to say that, you know, you don't see on Black Hawk Down that they're laughing and giggling, but that they were taking hits, they were taking massive casualties and stuff like that. That if that's the case, yeah, you'd definitely be like not doing that. But afterwards, you would probably find that dark humour starts ripping through blokes. You know, they would be taking a piss of. You even see it in those types of films where they're, you know.
But I feel like that's
blown up.
That feels like a decent way to be able to deal with it. Otherwise, I feel like if you don't see some kind of other side opposed to just absolute like sorrow, then surely that shit will just consume you.
Yeah, totally. I think it's a good part of the mental health healing stage.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, I don't suffer with PTSD, not in the slightest. I mean, I'll talk to you about anything offline in more detail with specifics. But I think that was the key to was with a bunch of lads that understand, exactly know what's going on, and talk and shoot the shit and get it out of your system, not let it build up. And again, that's probably why I think you find probably a lot of infantrymen that have been in those sort of contacts, they don't talk, or they probably have a laugh, but they don't talk about it a little bit more in detail.
Yeah.
Never gets out of their system, you know, and then they go off the rails however that is.
Yeah. Because I can see why. Because obviously, what we do now, obviously, I know what you do is we're of the same industry in some respect, but where you're a tree climber and I don't go anywhere near climbing trees, but obviously do tree works and things like that. But we're of that dangerous scope. So where you're fucking climbing trees like right next to power lines. I know I'm not doing it at the moment, but the previous job we were fucking crossing live train tracks every day and dealing with train movements and shit like that. And a lot of the stuff that we were doing at times was dangerous and if you do something wrong, especially if you're dealing with like moving trains, chances are you're going to get hit and you'll die.
Yeah.
And I must admit, the couple of times where something almost goes wrong, or like one time when a train went past me and I'm talking like less than a foot, it's going past me at like 60 mile an hour, and you think like if I slip off of what I'm sitting on now, I'm dead. I'm just gone. But you find it almost funny when it's done, but not funny. The giggle comes out without wanting it to.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. Like that train fucking come beaming past me and there was nowhere for me to go, but I was fine as long as I fucking stayed tucked in. But while it's passing me, there's a little giggle coming out of me involuntarily. But it's like I know that if I slip here, I'm dead. But at the same time, it's just funny. I don't know how you explain it.
Yeah, I suppose it's a release of
just a mechanism of dealing with it.
But
it's the same like when I hit my leg with a chainsaw. It didn't do anything to my leg, but enough to tear the trousers. And again, it's like you go, oh fucking hell, and like have a little bit of a laugh over that. And it's like, that's not funny. I've just hit my leg with a fucking running chainsaw. But at the same time, I'm seeing that as humorous, or Connor being brained by a tree branch and then being put in a coma. Hilarious.
Yeah.
That is absolutely hilarious. He's not dead, so it's fine. But that is hilarious.
Yeah, exactly. And we get to take the piss out of him for it as well.
Yeah.
And that's another thing is not only are you finding it funny, but other people will find it funny and rip you for it as well.
Yeah.
Like all the things that you know, like, that's a serious situation. Jesus Christ, Daryl, you nearly got shot by a bullet. And someone's there's like, oh, did you shoot your pants, Daryl? Did you a little bit of brown there, lad?
Yeah.
Like, was you checking the boss to see if he's put his pants, or has he got a big cock? You know, again, that's their way of like interacting with you, I suppose, after the fact of like my mate has nearly died,
Yeah.
or we've nearly died together.
But I feel like
Fucking-
there's an underlying seriousness that you can switch on when you need to with a situation.
Yeah.
If if say you and me are working together and we're felling a load of trees and like everything's going fine, but then tree nearly fucking crushes me, chances are we're going to find the funny side of it. But I feel like if in that moment I were to turn around and not find it funny and be serious, we're of that friendship group where you can also entertain that.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Like if I'm like, no, that was too much for me, like I'm like being deadly serious, then that can be reciprocated as well, which I feel like is the best sort of coping mechanism when you've got a group of friends where we can take the piss, but at the same time when for one person it's becoming a bit much, we can all fucking stop that.
Yeah, I think that's a massive sign of like emotional. What am I trying to think of? Emotional maturity. Like you can go from many different situations and understand someone else's predicament as well, or with you can put yourself in. Because there'll be a time like you might not be serious at that specific time because it's hit you, and then one of the lads will be like, "Oh, mate, you're all right," "Oh, yeah, not too bad," and then 2 weeks later, they'll be like, fucking shit his pants. You really like, see him get all serious, like, look at him. But again, yeah, it's very, very similar type. I hear from a lot of people. I haven't worked for many people that have come from ex-military in the tree business, but I'm sure there are frigging hundreds. And yeah, it's that thing, isn't it, of danger, working at height with a chainsaw. There's also with it, there's a thing where you are mentally challenging yourself as well and figuring situations out, because that's again as like a sign of a good operator is they are walking into sometimes a situation where they've never been there before or never been in that, but how are they figuring it out? What are they thinking about? And if you get someone that's just we've worked with many a moron. They've been in the business, whatever, say from one guy was in 6 years, and the guy's an absolute fucking terror. Didn't know what the fuck he was doing. But should do. And again, just not mature. Just a shit state. And then someone that comes in that like wants to have a laugh, no different. I'm still having a laugh, but take stuff seriously, like cool under pressure. I've been there and I've done, and I think the military was a massive part of that for me as well. Because I was kind of immature before that. That's because I didn't probably have that much responsibility, and then all of a sudden you get to carry a live weapon and people are relying on you, and you can be immature about that all day long, and that's just a shit soldier. And then you get later on, you go through a bit more military experience and you get that exactly the same. A guy that is fucking hilarious, mental, but absolutely outstandingly professional. As soon as the shit hits the fan, we could have a laugh and a joke all day long. But if someone got hit by a chainsaw, there's a couple of blokes in that team that would just be up for the task. They'd be like, right, stop that bleeding, put a tourniquet on. They would know because they've done some training. They're absolutely efficient at what they do, and they're taking that moment seriously and maturely, and they know what to do. And that's why that's probably why I moved companies, because I wanted to be in that environment.
I was going to say that because I know exactly what you mean. That people like Connor, for example, who is in my gang, I work with him every single day. I know that if shit hits the fan, something happens. I mean, the likelihood of something happening is so slim. At the end of the day, we're working with strimmers and hedge cutters for most of the time. We're not doing anything nearly as dangerous as we used to be doing. But there's still the possibility there, and because we're good at what we do, we normally get put on the stuff that is a little bit more high-tech and requires more thought process. But I know that if something goes wrong, I 100% rely on Connor. Anything goes wrong, if I've injured myself, if fucking I need to know something, whatever's happening, I know that geezer right there, my life's in his hands. I feel absolutely comfortable with that, and I'm sure vice versa, that's reciprocated. But there is definitely people that I work with where I think if something fucking happens here, you are useless to me. I'm looking after you, and that's solely that what's going on here. There ain't no one fucking looking after me. I've got to look after myself here, and that is kind of at one point. I like that because it makes you feel like a bigger person, because like I'm the only one here that fucking knows what's going on. But at the same time, it's so scary because it's like if something happens to me, no one, unless I can help myself, no one knows what to fucking do here to help me.
Yeah.
And surely that must also revolve around the military with like you say, immature people, and there must be thousands of people that go to go to boot camps and stuff like that where there's just dicks. You know what I mean? Like the guys that kind of give it because I'd imagine you get screamed at a lot. A lot of you're getting fucking a lot of people ripping into you.
It's probably a misconception.
You reckon?
Yeah. You do when you go through your training.
Yeah.
Because obviously they're trying to whip you into shape and get you working as a body of men, and there's certain, criteria they need to get through and change you. But I think the more professional you get, the more specialised you go. As I say, I wasn't in the infantry, so I didn't need shouting at all that much. I'd done my basic training, and that's where you get a lot of shit. You get fucking a show parade for something you've done wrong. So I don't know, for listeners, a show parade is let's say my situation is I never got show paraded pretty much throughout my whole of my basic training because I was fucking top banana. Polished, squared away, absolute model of a soldier. And then I had this corporal who was just a fucking arsehole. And he wanted a piece of me. He was like, this guy's too good, I need to fucking bring him down a peg. So apparently one morning I went off and hadn't made my bed, and rightly so, I hadn't made my bed, but you're not meant to get inspected until you come back from breakfast, which is when I was going to make my bed. He said, right, show parade every night this week at 7:00 with your bed space outside. So that means I have to take my whole fucking bed space out into the courtyard.
What, lockers and everything?
Everything. Absolutely fucking everything. Bed, and show your bed made.
Yeah.
So I've done that fucking every night a week throughout weekday at 7:00. One night it was his turn to be like duty corporal or duty. So I had him, I could say it was a Wednesday night. Wednesday night, I went outside 7:00, come out, it went, show parade again at fucking 7:30. So I had to take all my shit back in, come back out 7:30.
You had half an hour just fucking...
Yeah, just moving my stuff in and out.
What happens if you just say fuck off?
Oh, mate, yeah, you don't want to say fuck off. Oh, mate.
Yeah, but what can they actually do other than kick you out? What?
They just go down like disciplinary routes. But the thing about...
Can they do anything physical, though? They can't just fucking hit you, can they?
No, not anymore. Not anymore. I mean...
Not any... Off the books, they can slap you about.
I've seen it. I've seen it.
Yeah.
It did happen.
Yeah.
But, no, I'm not going to get
It's not supposed to happen, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And I don't think it's such a bad thing either.
Yeah,
Like, if you can't take a punch, then what chance the fuck have you got taking a bullet? Like, you got to, I think you got to be in that right mind space. Like, and that's where I was. I found training a lot easier because my head was in that space of, I was expecting to get fucking beasted and beaten up and all the rest of it, because that's what makes a soldier, you
You
can't just be soft. You've got to take a few digs in life. So back to the show parade. So I got show paraded every 30 minutes, probably until like 1:00 in the morning, and it was raining as well. Imagine that. So now I've got a wet bed, I've got wet shit everywhere. It's just fucking nightmare. But I just remember looking at a brick, like, for pretty much that whole entire time, just like, you won't break me, you cunts. You're never gonna break me. This ain't fucking nothing. I'm just standing out in the rain, ain't gonna fucking matter to me. So I don't know kind of where we skipped off track or where we were going on that line, but you will. I think that's where I realised that I was a mature person, like going into soldiery. I was gonna be elite. I was gonna be the best at what I could be.
Sort of like once you realise that there are dickheads in the military, but also the shit that I'm forcibly being put through is almost like for your own good in the longevity of things.
Exactly. That's just the building block of what's to come, You
go like, right, get your shit out of here, put it in the fucking soaking rain right now, put it back in, half an hour, I want it fucking back out there.
Yeah.
But I suppose in the grand scheme of things, you've had to do that for 7 days a week. But when you're thrusted into fucking a war zone, that's, you know what I mean? Like, that's so minutely nothing.
Yeah, exactly. and the more you want to specialise, that more that shit goes away, but they put pressure in other areas. So that's just, as I said, that's just a building block of, or a byproduct of what you're going to be in the future. You know, if you are willing to fucking do that every night of the week and still find a fun and still be like, nah, man, you ain't got me.
I'm all
You're
good.
fucking, like, I've got you. I'm living in your, if you feel that you had to do that, I'm living in your head.
Yeah, I've pissed you off
I've
somehow.
fucking got you. So doing this to me, if I'm just courteous and whatever, I've got you wrapped up. And then that just to put me in good stead for when I'd done more. You know, it is fucking hard when you specialise, but you've got to, you know, many a time I just thought like 6 o'clock in the morning and you're running through an ice lake, like smack, like fucking. I think that's where I got one of my worst injuries. Is I smashed my leg. I was going through a tank pond, it was January, and that pond was frozen solid. They smashed it up like for us to run through. And I hit my fucking shin. And it was probably early on as well. I think I was only like a couple of weeks in, and it was fucking swelled up. It was horrible, and to run on it was like pain. Luckily it wasn't like a break or anything, but it just niggles. Those things niggle because you're constantly doing stuff. But you're in your head then. You're like, oh, fucking hell, this is hard work. Man. I've got to get up again tomorrow. And we weren't going to bed till late. And like the training style is like, get dressed in this, get dressed in that, get dressed in this, get dressed in that. We're going to go here. And it's classroom based, it's practical based, it's classroom based, it's practical, it's physical. You know, just because you've done your PT for the morning, it ain't over.
Yeah.
If you went on the range and you made an error, say, you know, you didn't pull you're doing a transition drill from like your long weapon, so a machine gun into a pistol, and something didn't quite go right for you. They had this fucking tank hill, it was called, and it was probably about 70 meters length, but the gradient on it was a bastard. And you're carrying full kit. You're probably carrying an extra 10 kilos to 14 kilos worth of kit, and you got to run up and down that. You know, so the fizz weren't over in the morning. So if you were fucked to the fizz in the morning, like you're thinking of quitting, then you ain't got no hope. You just got to take it one step at a time. You know, you've probably seen a lot of stuff like on TV of like Buds, which is, you know, the SEALs version of stuff, and they try and break you in Hell Week. Yeah,
well, I saw a geezer that they put him on. They all had to do some massive fucking run, and he broke his legs just running.
Yeah,
just like
his stress factors.
Yeah, and just broke his legs like that. But he went down, and they tried their like best screaming at him and everything to get back up, and he did, but then just went straight back down again. And then it like had to be taken away, and like he never, is it called passing out or whatever that like, thing that they would do? I think it was for SAS.
Oh they call that back squatting for us and roll back.
Yeah, I think it was for the Green Beret.
Oh, Marine Commando.
Yeah,
Royal Marine Commando.
Yeah. And when they like took him away in a defender, and then he'd fucking broken both of his legs.
Yeah, the old jack wagon.
Like, what the fuck? Like, he's been ran to the point his legs have broken.
Yeah.
But the fact that you as a human being, having now someone who is an amateur runner, I could never imagine running my legs to a point where they have broken.
Yeah.
Because of just running. Like, that is mental.
Yeah, and but that's the thing. He probably weren't just running. You know, the guy's doing like he's carrying load.
Yeah.
He's jumping. He's doing like assault courses.
Yeah.
So yes, that's where it comes from. And also people went, oh, that's so cruel that they made him run. Well, but they don't know. There's a lot of people out there that just like fanny it about. They just use that as an excuse. Like, oh, my leg hurts. And they're like, well, fucking, until they, you know, and that's no fault of their own. They've got to be, they'll take that to a limit. You know, they'll go fucking get in a jack wagon. But they want to train you in. They don't want to train you out. It's not like in the old days. They want to train people in because of numbers, and it looks bad on them as well. So they try and train you in, but they don't know. You know, until the doctor says like, yeah, you know, the guy's got a broken leg, and then right, that you would see the act. You would probably might not have seen it in the back scenes, but they would be like, yeah, mate, okay, we're going to roll you back to this squad. And if you went back, and they would not so much take it easy on you, but they'd have a bit more respect. They'd be like, yeah, that geezer fucking broke his legs basically.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
he's a geezer. If he passes out, he's the sort of bloke I want to work with.
yeah.
Because that
He's prepared to go to the limits of,
Yeah,
of
exactly.
literally breaking his body to
yeah.
fucking do this.
and you can't like sometimes that is you can't help that shit and injure. I
Yeah.
knew a top bloke, absolute legend. Arda's 10 men
Mm.
went for selection, 2-2 SAS selection. In fact, no, sorry, went SBS selection. Same thing these days. He was doing a night nav. You just thought this guy would just piss it.
Mm.
Rolled his ankle on a stone, snapped his ankle. Geezer's out.
Ugh.
And you would have put your mortgage and your mum
Yeah.
and your girlfriend
Yeah.
and fucking dogs and everything on him passing it without a doubt. But yeah, it will get you. And
Yeah.
like, yeah, you can't help that sort of thing. But you know, at the same time, they would be pushing you
Mm.
fucking hard because that's what they want.
Yeah.
And that's what that's what makes when we go out working. And some days you have it easy, don't you? Like, yeah, it's a 10 a.m. finish for you guys anyway nowadays. But yeah, like if, when we done that PJ,
Yeah.
I'm not going to snivel and cry that I'm working till 6, and I was like just doing it as a bit of a favour as well. But you put in a fucking day's graft. Like,
Yeah, it was a shift.
You wouldn't trust anyone to do that who works at the firm. You'd be
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
You knew they'd be fucked by you. They'd be on their phone at 10:30. You're like, what are you doing? You can't come on, get moving.
Yeah, you're working solidly for fucking 10, 12 hours to get that done.
So that's what they're looking for, and that's what, as a team player, we're all looking for, isn't it? Like, I'm looking to people, one, I can work with, they can work with me, and two, or three, that they can fucking dig out when it's needed to dig out.
Yeah, because it is weird how you get to a point where, because I feel like before I started getting myself into shape and taking it more seriously than previous, when I was fucking 18.5 stone and diet was terrible and attitude was quite poor, doing that hard work was like, my attitude towards it was very, I can't be arsed, I don't want to do this, blah, blah, blah. Whereas now, I'm not perfect, but if it's a hard day, it's a hard day. If we've got to do a load of shit, I almost want to fucking do that because I'm trying to look after myself. So I almost see it as a beneficial thing of, right, if I've got a graft of a day, let's fucking have it because it's going to benefit my body to do that. And it's nice when you work with other people who are of the same mindset as that, because, like you say, we've both been in positions where we've worked with teams where some people are like that, and then the rest of the team are just fucking useless and not interested at all in doing any of that, which I feel like is that sort of resonates throughout anything that you do in life. If you're doing anything with anyone and they're putting in fucking a quarter of the effort that you're putting in, it just makes shit so much more fucking difficult with everything that you're doing.
Yeah. You just
It's just crazy.
yeah. As you were telling now, I just remember another story. It's just not like overly funny, but it's just like the degree of fucking pain that we can go through. I remember we'd been out with a boss for, I think, like 5-6 days solid, like doing some border ops and visiting separate people. And there's this fucking helicopter rocks up, and it's an old, like, fucking Wessex type helicopter, Sea King it was. And we were fucking uncomfortable anyway. We've been out in the sand everywhere, up your fucking shit pipe, down your belly, and like, it's fucking like your skin sore.
Yeah.
Shit. And we were like, oh yeah, thank God we've got a fucking helicopter we're going to go back on rather than in the back of a armoured personnel carrier. But we knew there was always going to be some pain with this helicopter because the exhaust port is right above the rotor, which is right above the door. So it blows in fucking hot air.
Great.
So that we were thinking, like, fuck, it's going to be a bit of a painful journey home, but not that bad. Anyway, what we didn't realise is this helicopter had been out because it was a Navy helicopter with Marines in it. So they'd been out they go out no matter fucking what. Hats off to the Navy, hats off to the Royal Marines. They will go out in all sorts of weather, and they'd been out a long time, multiple ops, refueling, picked us up, and you get into the back of this thing, and it was fucking red hot. It was hotter inside the helicopter than it was out, and it's Iraq in summertime.
Yeah.
And they got these little canvas seats, so it's like a metal bench.
Yeah.
You know, and then it's got like string rope
Yeah.
through these fucking little seats. But what you don't realise until about fucking 10 minutes in is the little eyelets that these ropes are fucking
roasting.
hot. They've got the exhaust port going into it, and I was sat door front as well. So I'm
right
last in, first out. So I'm right by that fucking exhaust port. It's tearing down on me. And it fucking hurt. It was about a 2-hour trip in this fucking helicopter, man.
Yeah.
And we just agony. And I knew that it was fucking painful. And I looked at my mate, and I just lifted up my arse cheek, and I said, "Oh, it's like that." And he was like, "Yeah, you did," because it's fucking loud as well.
Yeah.
And he was like, "Yeah, it's fucking burning." Anyway, we got back to the room. I dropped the boss off. Got back to the room, and I whipped down my trousers, and I had little eyelet burns on my arse, all down both fucking legs, across there, and up my arse.
Yeah.
And I just bent over and looking at, and he's like looking at my arse, and I was looking at his arse, and we were just like, "Fucking hell, that's fucking new. I've never experienced that before." He's like, "Fucking terrible, isn't it?" I was like, "Yeah, it burns so bad," and I was like, "Do you not wax your arsehole, mate?" And he's like, "Well, obviously you don't."
That is fantastic.
So yeah, I mean, they're the things, you know. And you can't laugh about that and be prepared for all that sort of shit. It's,
what a design flaw, though. Let's fucking put the exhaust going straight back into
that shit. That thing was designed for the Falklands. You know what I mean? Like, we had kit that was there donkeys fucking years, and but obviously we can't afford to go and buy new helicopters, so they just use what they got. And yeah, it's they're the experiences that as well that you go through in the tree welders, but that's where you make a mate for life. Like there's no one else that will kind of get that unless they've experienced that. But you go into, you know, meet up with him or go to a pub with him or whatever it's going to do. And those are the things you'd be like, you know, "Oh, that was a fucking hard tour."
Yeah.
Do you remember that time he fucking showed me your ass? We're like, "Yeah, mate. Oh, that was brutal, wasn't it? That was terrible."
Remember that time we all got our nuts out at fucking Wetherspoons?
Yeah. Innit? At least there's a reason for us getting it.
It's a camaraderie, innit?
Yeah, it's awesome. It's like literally the best part of my life.
Yeah.
I can, best and worst, you know, you see some fucking horrible shit. There's some stuff out there, you know, that people want to believe and don't believe in. Like, did we go there for the right reasons and that sort of shit? And you know, that's your interpretation. I know what I went there for, and what other blokes went there for. But there's don't people out there, don't be disillusioned, or you know, whatever governments or whatever these people say is. There's a fucking lot of bad shit out there that's happening, and we ultimately made a difference. You know, whether you think what anyone says, like statistics, is, you know, we fought for people that couldn't fight for themselves, and we fought for each other as well. So yeah, it's fucking fantastic job, and the more you get out, the more you put in, the more you get out with the military. Yeah. Like those people that say, "Oh, it's fucking shit," they're those people that were like emotionally immature, and they weren't, you know,
poor attitude.
I know blokes that there's in the military is a good thing where they go say, "Oh yeah, put your hand up if you want to do a motorbike course," and then they put you on different shit. You know, like this story is to specialise. It's called a close protection course. So who wants to do it? And they abbreviations for everything. So who wants to go on a CP course? And one lad, fucking hand straight up, little ginger lad, puts his hand straight up. "Yes, I want a piece of that." And he's like, "Yeah, no worries, lad. Yeah, you be on it. These are your orders." And gets to this fucking. He's like, "This ain't where we train, like CP train." And he was like, "Yeah, welcome to your cycle proficiency course." So, he could fucking ride a bike anyway, but there's, you know what I mean? So
what a waste of time.
They put him on it in the end.
Yeah.
Like, do you know what I mean? But that's the sort of the shit joke. You have to volunteer for it. I volunteered for another job in Canada, and majority of it was absolutely shit, but at the end of it, I got a great experience. I met new people.
Yeah.
I went to Canada, and then I got 2 weeks off in Canada, in Calgary, and just went fucking mental. Met these I was there with a couple of other lads. Two girls outside the hotel room wanted to come back, and obviously like, yeah, fucking course, we're gonna get some puss action. I'm gonna get some right fucking dirty Canadian maple syrup fucking arse licks going on. And they come upstairs.
Yeah.
And I think one of them said, "Oh, have you got any condoms?"
Yeah,
Obviously, good military fucking lads, always prepared. Had fuck all, nothing. And we're like, no,
Great.
fuck that.
Yeah.
And they turned out to be just like a couple of crackheads, and they just fucking smashed up our hotel room, mate. She picked up a glass ashtray and threw it, and then the hotel staff got involved, and it was fucking. I thought, oh shit, this is going to hit the fan. I'm going to be dragged back, and then the hotel guy was sound as a pound. He's like, don't worry, mate. You know, we knew who they were when you walked in. We thought it was a bit strange, but yeah. And I was like, oh yeah, sorry, man. Fucking cracked mirror, fucking. I think my mate's wallet got nicked. I was a bit more switched on than that. I put my wallet and shit everywhere and like hid it all. And, you know what I mean, put it in my shoe, put it in my sneaker.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'd say like that you're not going to get that experience. You don't put your hand up. So you got to go for it. And again, that's why if there's a course running where I work now, or there's
you want to go on it.
Yeah, of course you do. Like even if you fail it, like what's the fucking if you fail something, you go back next time and try harder and learn from your mistake the first time and go and crush it. So yeah, you get. I think that's probably, good thing for life is you're gonna get out.
Just fucking try everything, yeah.
So anal, transgender, just try it all, fucking everything.
Talk about courses, anal.
Yeah, the old anal course. That's a long one, deep course. That is.
What a fantastic episode! I feel like I could talk to you about this shit for a very, very long time.
Yeah,
I mean, we do, to be fair. We do talk about it all the fucking time because it's just so interesting. But I'll probably fucking finish it there.
Yeah, so well, there's always other time. If the patrons want it to happen again, I'll...
Yeah, people listening, give us your fucking feedback. I always like to well, I feel like when we first started doing the Patreon, I felt like there was this almost strictness of we're a gaming podcast, so the Patreon has to be about even more gaming but more in depth. But I find that most people tend to like the Patreon episodes when they're not so much centered around gaming. Almost like not a break, but that little bit of insight into the people that you're fucking hearing on the other end of the
definitely. And
microphone.
I think you have one podcast where you're hammering the shit out of gaming and stuff.
Yeah.
It almost seems like it sometimes just could run into the same sort of
same
topic.
shit.
So if you have two different ones, then
But it's interesting, man. I like doing episodes like this. It's almost a shame to have it on a Patreon, but at the same time, I feel like you're much more free to go more in depth without the worry. Especially if you're talking about shit where you're on the line of, can I talk about this because I fucking signed a document saying I wouldn't talk about this.
Yeah, like I'm happy to talk more in detail about that. I can come back and maybe if it's a bit more structured, you want to know about like Afghanistan itself or Iraq itself or Somalia or fucking another countries that I've visited.
Yeah.
I say visited, basically gone there, dominated, and
then come home,
buried a few people.
It's just mental, isn't it?
I'm happy to do that.
But,
give your feedback, guys. We really appreciate it.
it.
And then I play Call of Duty as well, so that's the gaming part of it. Grenade out, UAV.
See you later, everyone.
Fuck
Uru.
off.